Being an amazing product marketing leader doesn't happen by chance. It happens by habit. Product marketing certified leadership has been built on the back of decades worth of experience from some of the world's best known brands with one goal in mind: helping you be the best leader you can be. Crammed with real life case studies, over 12 hours worth of content, templates, exams, and more, this course is everything you need to lead with authority, confidence, influence, and innovation. Every piece of material within the 7 modules and 29 chapters has been vetted, tested, and approved by senior level product marketers from companies like Amazon, Uber, and HubSpot, serving up game-changing insights throughout. By the time you've wrapped up the final module, you'll be able to define what it takes to be a great product marketing leader, build and scale your team, understand how to successfully manage your existing team, use methods for leveraging data, know how to become the voice of the customer, understand how teams work cross-functionally, and improve your strategic thinking. The beauty of the course is you'll have the freedom to work your way through the modules at a pace to suit you. It's 100% self-paced. You'll even get lifetime access to the curriculum, paving the way for refresher sessions forevermore. Visit productmarketingalliance.com to get leadership certified and spearhead your journey to the top.
Hello, and welcome to Crafting Sales Narratives That Sell. My name is Rebecca Engelberg, and I'm excited to be here to share some of my personal experiences with you today. And I hope that you find value in this talk and that you can take away some tactics, some lessons, and apply them to your organization. A little bit about me. I was the first product marketing manager at Flybits, a fintech company based out of Toronto. And I joined at about employee number 50. Since then, Flybits has over doubled in size. So I had the unique opportunity to build a new function at a critical time when a startup is becoming a scale-up. A startup is a company in the early stages of determining product market fit, experimenting with customer segmentation, and working toward a positive contribution margin. Whereas a scale-up is a company that has already validated its product within the marketplace and has proven that the unit economics are sustainable. So being a part of an organization that is going through this transition is really exciting, because now you have to start creating new processes for scale and growth. You might call that growing pains. I was fortunate that I could be a part of it, and what this has to do with creating sales narratives that sell is quite interesting. So in a tech startup, when you're validating your product, it's very common to be heavily focused on features, especially when it's an innovative product that didn't exist before. And this was the situation that my organization was facing. As is typical with many tech startups, your organization is often composed of engineers, and a sales and marketing function typically come later. So as a result, your sales narrative is all about product features. If you're selling a commodity like soap, that's fine. It's pretty well understood what the features of soap will do for you. But when you're selling a complex B2B technology, you're going to face a lot of difficulty with a feature selling approach. To give you an analogy, I'm going to compare this approach to selling knives. Now, when your organization is scaling up and growing its market, This is where you transition from feature selling to solution selling, from selling knives to instead selling the ability to enjoy a finely cut salad. So what's the challenge with feature selling? It's twofold. Firstly, in a B2B sale, it puts the burden on the prospect to figure out what to do with your innovative features. Maybe the blade is made out of some new material. Maybe the handle has an extra durable grip. But why should the prospect care? What does it mean for them? That's where it often falls apart, because you're not helping the prospect understand how those innovative features will help them achieve their quarterly KPIs or their balanced scorecard. Second, it's more work for your sales team. When you're selling an innovation, requiring your prospect to remember what those innovative features are and have to explain it to their colleagues, that's going to be risky. And oftentimes your sales team will end up creating bespoke talk tracks for all of their prospects, explaining the value, how they think that prospect will want to hear it. And that's really not conducive to a repeatable process. But when you develop a solutions approach, now you're speaking your prospect's language, and you make it easy for them to envision how this innovation will help them to achieve their goals. It also ensures your organization is communicating the same value across the market, reducing the work and making it truly a repeatable process. So that was our goal. Create a pitch that's compelling and repeatable, because the feature selling approach wasn't working. Prospects were saying it's too difficult to explain, and there were too many versions of the same pitch, creating redundant work. But you cannot reinvent a pitch in a vacuum. Your organization has to buy in to ensure that your new pitch is actually being used in the market. Remember, sales is used to selling in their own way. So as a product marketer, who are you to tell them how they should be selling? They're on the front lines speaking to potential customers. So you have to ask yourself, how do you develop a pitch that your organization can actually get behind? And we approach this in 2 steps. First, we leveraged a best-in-class storytelling framework that had a proven track record of success with top technology companies. Second, we invited our sales organization to co-create the story with us so that their input was heard. And we're going to take a deeper look at both of these steps, the framework and the co-creation and the workshop itself. So starting with this framework, this best-in-class framework, we researched online how other successful tech companies built their pitches, and we found a common framework across all of them, leveraged by Salesforce, Tesla, and many other successful tech companies. So here's the framework. You can break it down into four steps or 4 categories. First, why now? What is the undeniable shift in the world resulting in urgency for prospects? Why should your prospects change? Where's the urgency? Second, name the enemy. What is the one thing that's getting in the way of your prospects' happiness, of your prospects being efficient and making money and rising to their full potential? Third, the promised land. What is that happily ever after that your product will help your prospect to achieve? And fourth, how to get there. Name the one thing your product can offer to help slay that enemy and reach the promised land. So let's take a real example so that you can see this framework applied to a company that you're familiar with. Tesla, for example. Why now? Well, with regards to Tesla, it's the rising CO2 emissions that are creating huge damage to the atmosphere and creating irreversible damage to the earth as a whole. So that's a pretty compelling reason to change. Name the enemy. That's fossil fuels or from traditional combustion vehicles. The promised land, an emissions-free world where nature and our health isn't put at risk. And how to get there. That's electric cars. So if you noticed, only at the end of the framework do you even introduce the product. Whereas for the first 3 quarters, you're creating an urgency, a pain, and the vision of a better future. By doing that, you will appeal to the emotions of your prospect and really making the whole storyline about them and their goals rather than starting with you and why your product is so great. And this is a really common fallacy that most organizations, most sales and marketing organizations, that they fall into, as well as many tech startups. So rather than start with the product, what you need to start with is the customer. So we shared this framework with key stakeholders like our sales organization. And we ran a workshop where everyone provided their input into each of the 4 categories. And this step is really crucial to the process. It's crucial to involve your sales organization because they have critical market knowledge and you need to leverage that. And by including them in the process, they will feel that they were part of creating the new pitch, the new idea. And if they invested the time to help you create it, they will be much more likely to buy in once it's ready and actually use it in the market. So what were the results of this process with our organization? So we created a pitch that most people liked, which was, around 150 people. But at the end of the day, there were still skeptics. It's impossible to create consensus amongst so many people. But directionally, we knew it was a big improvement from how we were doing it before. The only way to truly know if it works and if it's going to resonate is to test it in the market. And that's exactly what we did. And what we found were that prospects were much more easily able to grasp how this innovative product, these innovative features, would help them to achieve their KPIs and would fit into their business. As well, prospects asked way less about competitors. So at the end of the day, we were very happy with the results. So I want to leave you with 3 key takeaways. And if you remember nothing else from this talk, remember this when creating your sales narratives. First, take the burden off of prospects. It's not their job to figure out what your innovation will do for them and to create the business case on your behalf. Don't overwhelm them with an innovative feature set. Tell them how your product provides a solution that fits into their business. Second, use a best-in-breed storytelling framework and invite your organization to co-create it with you. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. So copy an approach that's worked in the past, but don't create it in a silo. You absolutely need to leverage your sales organization to get their insights and their buy-in to the process. Third, don't wait until you've achieved consensus before launching. The only way to gauge effectiveness is through testing it in the market. And it will always be an iterative process, no matter what stage you are in your organization, from startup to scale up to being, an organization with thousands of people. As markets and prospects change, so will your narrative. That's creating sales narratives that sell. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope it provided you with value. Take care.